I'm sure by now you've probably seen the Nutter Butter TikTok account, or at least the many people talking about it.
Nutter Butter account?
Bro, love the Nutter Butter account.
Why is this on the Nutter Butter account? They are taking some stuff and having a grand old time.
So let's talk about it. The last couple of years have been pretty interesting when it comes to how big corporations present themselves on social media. Viral marketing seems to have become less about presenting your company's USPs, unique selling points, or even your product at all, and more about creating a narrative with stories, characters, and lore. We saw this with Duolingo, which is one of the first notable examples I can think of a company just completely embodying a character and giving that character free rein to completely control a social media account, embodying a persona that directly interacted with their audience, bullying them quite regularly, and capitalizing on hijacking social media trends and entertainment first and foremost, which netted them over 376 million views in just over 2 months, which is pretty good. I'm sure they weren't the first company to do this, but they certainly weren't the last. This is something that a lot of other brands have attempted to do with varying levels of success. Off the top of my head, I can think of Scrub Daddy, Ryanair, Opera GX, and others that just completely embody a persona on the internet and utilize that to market their product. So, Nutter Butter. How is this any different to these other tongue-in-cheek companies? Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Well, for a start, it's insane. There are a couple of components to the Nutter Butter utter insanity that I can think of, so let's go over them a little bit. First of all, there was a meme trend in the late 2010s surrounding nonsensical and surrealist ideas. It was quite a popular meme for a while, creating weird images that walk the line between comedy and horror. Me and the homies at 3 a.m. looking for beat. You may be familiar. So I think the surrealist humor element is quite a major one that's playing here. Another thing is the analog horror scene that exploded a couple of years ago on YouTube. I believe this started with Five Nights at Freddy's fan animations, but don't quote me on that, I'm not entirely sure. Analog horror, if you're unfamiliar, utilizes lo-fi effects such as VHS glitches, distortion, and low-quality audio. It uses these elements in conjunction with sometimes quite simple animation to produce pretty creepy content. The benefit of using this format for small creators is it allows them to, by themselves, create quite compelling media with usually quite simple tools, which is great for everyone involved. This format leans quite heavily on the found footage aesthetic that a lot of films like Paranormal Activity use to create more realistic feeling footage. And these analog horror series tend to actually feature quite complex lore, characters, and world building that is created over the period of several episodes by the creator. So, Nutter Butter. They seem to be creating their own kind of surrealist analog horror content. Sometimes, most of the time, leaning more towards the surreal than the horror elements, but definitely dipping into both of those lanes. They've created characters, narrative, and they're really leaning on that what the fuck factor. So, what makes something like this so viral? I mean, it's got to be the absurdity of something so weird coming from a seemingly corporate mouthpiece, right? I mean, it's sure to make a few people double take. Definitely made me double take when I first saw it, jump scare me on my feed. I suppose the question I've been asking myself is, does this form of marketing have any longevity? Does this incredible virality actually translate to sales for a company like Nutter Butter? Or is it just brand defamation for a boost to follower count? Tell me your thoughts on this. I'd be interested to hear what other people have to say about this whole Nutter Butter craze.